Welcome back to the Nullified Tech channel here on YouTube. Well, we've got the TNT takes for you for the amazing race, Australia. There it is. I'm very happy to be joined by V, Michelle, Tom. We're going to be discussing the final week of the Amazing Race Australia Celebrity Edition. And what a final week it was. We had two episodes again, as always, episodes 11 and 12. And we finally saw the end of the Amazing Race Australia season 7. What did you think of the season 7 as a whole, Michelle? Are you feeling good about the end?
I am, because I love the cast and I love India was included. Even though it was only Asian countries, I loved India. And the cast is great. So I am okay with this season.
There you go. V, new to Amazing Race, didn't have a lot of experience. You kind of crammed a little bit in before we kind of started the season. How are you feeling after your first full season of the Amazing Race Australia?
Oh, it was such fun. It was really fun. It's a fun show. It's very wholesome and just lovely. I enjoyed it.
Just lovely.
Just lovely. It's really nice. Maybe this season they were nicer to each other than they are generally, but they were very nice to each other this season.
They were.
And Tom, maybe turning back to the dark side once again, how are you feeling after a season of the Amazing Race Australia?
Hello there. No, it's this is my celebratory gown. I mean, I'm quite offended none of you dressed up. I got this.
He's got a tux on.
I got the tux on.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm feeling very underdressed.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
shaved. I mean, at least Kahuna shaved, but V, Michelle, what are your excuses?
You don't know.
Look,
No.
look, I got here in time.
Yeah, I've got a button here. You can't read it, but it says "luck off." Yeah, I'm
Yes.
feeling very fancy dressed, and of course, I'm wearing gold pants. I'm not lying, and I'm not going to show you because you believe me. So, yeah, no,
I'm wearing no pants, so that's
Oh,
my
well,
celebratory.
well, you should show us that one.
Twins. Can you two
Yeah.
both stand up?
Yeah, let's see who's telling the truth.
We want to send a big shout out to the people in chat already. Of course, we have our fifth member, the statistician. The guy gives us all the info and the numbers. Jonathan Gray made it this time. Good on you, Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Ellen back again. This time, at least there's a comment that doesn't mention Yana. Hey, also crazy that this season has come to an end. A really satisfying end to a wonderful season. Next year's celeb version has a lot to live up to.
I agree.
Yeah, Jonathan agrees as well. Top 3 season, easily the best bow season.
Yeah,
Nice.
I think so.
Ooh.
And also, it was so nice only having 12 eps rather than 24, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we did get
Short and
a
sweet.
tighter, shorter season, a little bit more compact. And I think I agree with Ellen. Like, I appreciated the fact that it was so tight and well-paced and quick. There wasn't a lot of filler in between. I didn't feel
Yeah.
like it was dragging out. And I didn't have to see all your beautiful faces for 6 months as opposed to, 12 weeks instead of 24 weeks. So I think that works out well. Like it keeps it going fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
For
I mean,
sure.
it was only 6 weeks, not even 12. It was 6 week season.
Oh, yeah, 6 weeks. Sorry, 6
Because we're
weeks.
2
Yeah.
eps a week, whereas the US one is a 12-week do. Yeah.
Mm.
And of course, Ellen says, we finally saw the waterfall pit stop.
It's a little embarrassing. There's no waterfall in the background, really. I thought there was.
We
but-
kept calling it the waterfall, isn't it, for a long time?
Look,
There's
I
no
mean,
waterfall at
Mandela
all.
effect.
yeah, but there's a lake, and I saw the water, so I called it a waterfall. But I want to coin the term from now on in all reality TV shows, the waterfall immunity, which means when a team, a team is safe because of an editing blunder. So it's like having a hidden immunity idol that will run until you see that thing.
Let's
know?
call
Yeah,
it the
I agree.
waterfall edit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The waterfall
Pretty
edit.
good.
There you go. Coining it. It's going to be
Yeah.
used from now
Coined.
on. Ellen said I could bring up Yana if you'd like. We're good.
Yes,
Let
please.
the woman rest.
No, Ellen, keep going. I love
Jonathan
it.
said, for the first time in 3 years, every team race in every episode. Ah, okay.
Yes. Yes, Jonathan. Sometimes you didn't see a team. It was really weird.
Oh.
Right. Okay. Because especially last season, I assume with 24 teams or whatever it
It's
is,
just
like
crazy.
there's so much editing you need to do to give an equal storyline across the board there. But this year we didn't have that problem. And Labai, welcome, saying wish they follow up this season with a normal non-celeb season if Network 10 want to have 20 plus episodes of The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
It already has been confirmed for next season. It's going to be Celebrity one again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yes, they're going back to the well. They liked it. They obviously, even before the season finished, they saw what they had. They saw the edit and realized that this is the way to go, apparently. What do you think in comparing the normal everyday Aussies versus the celebrity version, Michelle, being the Amazing Race expert here?
Look, if you can get a really good bunch of Aussies, a really good cast, then it will be a good season. Like the season 2 from 2012, great season, stellar cast, great destinations. And so that's why it has been deemed one of the best seasons in the world. And because this was just Asia, but it also had such a good lot of challenges and it was a good cast, they did well. I don't know how they can live up to it next year with another celebrity cast. They're going to really have to dig deep to find, to put it in Prob's words, to find, a cast as good as this one. I like normal everyday people, as people call them, if they're good personalities. Yeah.
Tom, what are your thoughts on it? Would you go back to the well for celebrity, or do you think we should go back to normal Aussies?
Well, one thing I don't like is when someone does something good and then they think, let's not try and do anything new and interesting. Let's do the exact same thing. I would be okay with maybe similar to Champions versus Contenders Survive. You could have 6 celeb teams and 6 regular Joe teams, and you could sort of have a battle, because I know back in the day there was an Australian versus New Zealand Amazing Race, and I wouldn't say that was a good season, but I think the concept wasn't bad. I think it was a good concept there. So having like races that might have an inbuilt reason to support each other from the get-go, just because they're part of the same side, would make it a little bit more interesting. Like, like that you got built-in rivalries instead of just a whole bunch of random people, and then halfway through the race they all figure out they hate George, and that's when they all work against him. Well, not they were working against him. I think everyone wanted George at the end because easiest beat in history. I reckon if George or Harry and Teddy were at the end, Darren would have stepped on that mat a little bit earlier. All I'm saying.
V, would you have done the same thing?
Look, yeah, I like what Tom said, where you've got a bit of a fans versus favorites. I always like those sort of seasons where you get a bit of best of both worlds. I think the celebrity thing could get a little bit dry after a while. And, I think part of these shows is that it's aspirational, that you're supposed to watch thinking that you could have a chance and do it better. So I think if you saw celebrities all the time, you'd go, well, they're clearly not getting the regular Joes anymore. So I think a fans versus favorites, I think, would be a better choice, but is what it is.
And then what do you do with the money, though? Like, the fans get the money, but the celebrities don't. It goes to charity, and then the public would want the charity to win. They wouldn't want any of the regular people to win then. So it'd be a bit difficult, wouldn't it?
Well, the regular people could be charity cases. Let's be real. Like, they're all poor. That's what regular people are, right?
I think it depends on the celebrity. I don't think people always trip over the idea of celebrities winning the money.
In Australia, I think our definition of celebrity is a little bit loose sometimes as well. Like, I watch shows, and you can't tell me that Dane it was Dane, is it? Dane Simpson.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity, but you can't tell me he's rich enough that he wouldn't want the money if he actually won Amazing Race.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that you get people on the show, but I think what sets it apart, and I kind of appreciate, like, I'll show you a bit about another reality show or a game show that shows my nerdy side. But one of my favorite shows at the moment is Celebrity Letters and Numbers. Have you heard of this? It's on SBS. It's basically it used to be called in the UK. It's a show called Countdown, where there's 2 different games within the game. You get a bunch of random letters, and then within 60 seconds, you have to make as many words as you can out of those letters, right?
Oh yeah.
And then another version of it is that there's random numbers generated, and then you have to use those numbers generated to come up with a formula to get to an n number. Okay, so they just give you random numbers, and using these numbers, you have to plus this, minus that, times that to get to this.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a very nerdy kind of game show where you compete and win a small prize money. But lately in the Australian version, they've done it and changed it to celebrity version. So all the competitors are comedians and things like that, right? And I remember going, why do they want to do everything celebrity in Australia versus normal? And I got it because I was watching this show, and I think it applies to The Amazing Race as well, in that you've got a budget that you're working with, and you can either give that money out as prize money to the winner at the end for a normal person, or you can use your budget for appearance fees and then a small amount for charity as well, right? And that way you're getting the celebrity name, you're getting they're always going to be good on camera, they're going to give good confessionals, they know how to like work within the entertainment industry, and will probably work with the producers to get the best shots, and they'll probably do a challenge in a certain way or open up to camera so that they're getting the right angles. They know what they're doing because that's their job. And it costs just as much if you're giving out a $250,000 prize versus a $100,000 prize. And then
giving to charity
whatever it is,
deductible.
it is. There you go. So there's that as well, right?
There's that
but
plus
you're going to get entertaining people that know how to entertain because that's their literal job. You're very rarely going to get people that aren't as good on it. And then you get that element of as well. Like one of you's mentioned that when it's celebrities, you can kind of watch and go, maybe I could beat them. And that was the case with that show that I like, Celebrity Numbers, Letters and Numbers. And when they used to have Celebrity Jeopardy and Celebrity Sale of the Century, they dumb it down a little bit because the celebrities aren't like necessarily the smartest either. So if you're going to put celebrities on an all celebrity show, the standard maybe comes down ever so slightly. So that adds to it as well. You're like, I can actually, compare myself to it a little bit more, but I can see why they would want to do it. Ellen said here, if the Amazing Race AU is getting the ratings with celeb seasons, I understand why they're going to do it again next year. They can have normal Aussies after that, though, please. Yeah. So, yeah, I can see the benefits of it, and they're going straight back to the well. They're not like giving a couple seasons in between to let the novelty wear off. And every time a celebrity one comes up, you go, oh, cool. Like, a celebrity one. But if it just becomes the standard fare, it does kind of wear off a little bit, I think.
I have a question for Ellen. What qualifies as a normal Aussie? Because when I have the chance, I'm going to apply for again. And would you call this a normal Aussie? Does this qualify for that?
I mean, Aussie. I would say Aussie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I wore this this shirt in my Survivor self tape for the latest season, and of course they had Titans versus Rebels as the theme, and I guess I don't look like a Titan, and I don't exactly look like a rebel either. But when that season inevitably crashes and burns, they'll know where they made the mistake. So it's just all about finding good casting, people who clearly are interesting, and yeah, I know a few people who went through to the second or third round for that season, and let me tell
you, are they Titans?
They're not. Oh yeah. Well, one of them just
look like a Titan.
Yeah, he looks like a Titan, and his self tape was terrible. It was super messy and everything, but he just looked swole, so he made it through. Oh, he looks like a Titan too. Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, the key is muscles or looking like a villainous person, which I'm villainous, but I don't look like it, I guess.
Well, I'll make a confession, Tom, that I have worked in casting before I will not name the show, but I have worked in casting, and I would be very interested in you. So there you go.
Thank you. Yeah. See, I thought
you're just crazy enough to work.
I thought the bow tie. I went down the villain George route, and because I thought just after heroes vs villains they'd want more of that, but stupid people everywhere. That's all I'm saying.
If you could cook as well, I would have been very interested in you, and that's all I'll say.
I can make a mean bowl of rice.
There you go. That's enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Important skill, that one there, man. You got to put the water up to the finger thing.
Oh,
Everyone knows that measurement.
Everyone stuffs it up, honestly. It's ridiculous. Amateur hour.
All right, so we do have our celebrities, which we all agree it was a good season. We like our celebrities. We thought they were a great cast because of what they sort of brought to the show. But we get down to our final four in the penultimate leg of The Amazing Race Australia Season 7. We begin at Kaching International Airport, where the first challenge is to go to a market once again and put together your shopping list of items. But this time it's for the clue said a jungle celebrity, which they all sort of liked and appreciated. And they're like, oh, a celebrity. And they find themselves at the market and then on their way to a wildlife center for what becomes an intersection where we get to see teams team up once again. Now, there wasn't, I'm skipping ahead, but did you want to discuss anything at the market? There's not that, like, it's the same task. Just get
So we're in
stuff
and
from the
out.
market. Yeah, get it, head to the next thing, and they find out there's an intersection where they have to team up. Darren and Tristan wind up first. Ali and Angie end up coming into second place, so they team up with Darren and Tristan, which means Harry and Teddy, Emma and Haley are teaming up to basically feed the orangutans breakfast, and then they also need to remember specific details about them and basically what they've been taught, what they've heard about these orangutans, and remember them in detail. What did you think of this challenge, Michelle?
First of all, too late for an intersection. It shouldn't be at the final four.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. The latest it should be at final 6, even final 8. Like, what? Why? Final 4, it just messes with people, and I don't agree. I don't agree with it. I love the challenge, though. I love how they have to remember all the information. And, Darren and Ali and Angie and Tristan were so onto it, remembering all the bits and pieces, even repeating lines, and saying them back. And this is where, Emma and Haley were good for remembering things, but obviously they were hoping the boys would try and remember something, but they were empty vessels, basically.
I love how the girls kept up the positivity as well. They were like, oh, they're good for a party.
Yeah.
We have talked before about how it seems like some people are saying that Emma and Haley get challenges that are perfect for them. This was not that for Harry and Teddy, right?
Yeah.
This did not play up to their skill set, Tom.
I thought Darren was being a bit harsh when he was saying, oh, the boys are useless. And I thought all of a sudden he turned a little bit vicious towards them. But he was right. But I thought he was a bit unnecessarily harsh on those poor Betty and Teddy.
I also think that the challenges that Harry and Teddy would be good at are the ones that Darren and Tristan would also be good at. So maybe they sort of wanted them out because in a final 3, depending on the challenges, Harry and Teddy could steamroll the competition. Just depending on the challenges, that is. The challenges that ended up happening Harry and Teddy would. I wish they made the final 3. That would have been great, seeing them in the bookshop and then doing the memory stuff. Man, that we missed out there.
Again, like they mentioned it themselves. It wasn't my phrase, but their dumb head came into play again and made them not because it was an intersection as well. It also impacted Emma and Haley. But one good thing for Emma and Haley coming out of the orangutan. Oh, but I forgot. I really appreciated, like you mentioned before, Michelle, that one of the good things about this season is the challenges that they've had have actually been pretty great. Really great locations, very visually inspiring, like set pieces. And this one as well with the orangutans, Darren got really emotional and like seemed to really appreciate, said it was a lifelong dream of his. And this is the sort of thing that Amazing Race can do and show is all these cool things that you don't necessarily get in an island of Survivor or in a house of Big Brother. Is that there's not a lot of orangutans in other reality shows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really?
So it really
Wow.
adds to it.
Well,
Yeah.
there's sea snakes and things like that.
Mm. I will say those orangutans, I'm dead inside. But I felt something with Darren and those orangutans. I thought it was beautiful. I watched both episodes back to back, and there was some mushy stuff later on that I didn't like too much. But the orangutans, I felt that. It was a very beautiful moment for Darren. And
Just for Darren.
yeah, everyone else loses.
They do complete it, and because of the intersection, they are teamed up. Emma and Haley are weighed down somewhat by Harry and Teddy's memory. And one good thing that works out for Emma and Haley coming from here is that going to the next bit, the next challenge is that Harry and Teddy go in the complete wrong direction for a while too. They're like, I don't know, man. Like, what are we doing here? And they just keep going. Like, what's the play there? If you think you're going the wrong direction, do you stop immediately and find out? Because we've seen sometimes they
Yes.
go for like an hour in the complete opposite direction. They'll just drive and drive and drive.
Like the one said to the other, "I trust you," and the driver said, "I don't trust me." Like I don't even know who said it to who, but like, stop the car. This is crazy.
So then the
Oh,
next
gosh.
challenge is they end up at the Kampung Danu River, and they basically have to build bamboo rafts, like their own thing, and weave them and bind them together, which seems to be a much more difficult task than they probably thought leading into it, right? When you think about it, you think, oh, it's just a bunch of bamboo you tie it all together, but to be able to get it to not only float and maintain, but also carry your own weight, there's a certain skill to it for sure, Tom.
Yeah, and I found it funny how I was thinking, oh, Harry and Teddy might be at the back, but they'll smash this challenge, and then and Teddy's just like, yeah, no, I can't I built a desk from IKEA, and I was pretty proud of that. My dad was next to me, and he was like, oh, I'm offended for men right now. Like he's just like this guy is useless. But I was thinking because they were really good at the silk challenge, like that was
Yeah.
probably the best challenge.
Mm.
So like I thought the little tiny bit of I guess delicacy you need for like tying the strings and getting through all the like the cracks and everything, they'd be good at. Not to mention I guess like any like strength or like just hand stuff. Like they're at the gym pumping dumbbells every day. I thought their hands would be used to like getting into the work. I guess they probably get their hands manicured after they go to gym. So who knows?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be scared I'd use up all the rope, wanting it to be
Mm.
firm because, these rafts have disintegrated before. So I'd be
Mm.
wanting to use a lot of rope. And the problem is I probably wouldn't have my raft wide enough because I've used up all the rope and I can't put any more bamboo on. That's always a fear of mine. And I've never even done the challenge, but every time I see it, I worry about that. It's this thing I have.
So it is finite resources, isn't it? Like the rope and stuff, they have to figure out how to use it most efficiently and most effectively. Otherwise, you could just like get an unlimited rope and bind it completely like
Yeah.
nonstop. So yeah, there's a bit of a challenge to that. How are you at crafting bamboo rafts, V?
Oh, well, I mean, it's one of my strengths. No, that thing would be wobbly. It would disintegrate. I would be alligator or crocodile food within 5 minutes on that thing.
Do you
I'd
think
still
it wasn't
be
a
there. The
crocodile
show would be
like
over. I'd
Darren
still
saw?
be there trying to make it. Sorry?
Was it a real crocodile that Darren saw or a log or something?
No.
crocodile would
I'll
find me.
Google crocodiles in Borneo. There isn't. There aren't any.
I don't know. It looked dodgy.
Ellen said, watching this challenge gave me horrible flashbacks of a year 6 camp where I had to build one, but it sunk.
Yeah.
You have
There
to
you
make
go.
one when you're
That's
11.
fair.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's a big ask.
Although
Well, it was a big
11-year-olds,
ask for these
they'll
guys
float
too.
on
Sorry.
like
Sorry. I'm wrong. Okay.
plenty of them.
Let me just say, it's a saltwater crocodile. So it's not in rivers Borneo is home to the giant, not just the saltwater crocodile, the giant saltwater crocodile, the biggest reptile on Earth at 8 meters long, fully grown. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he'd find me.
That's
I
a big
stand
crocodile, man.
corrected.
And I'd be just sitting on a pile of sticks in the water at that stage.
Even bigger than Australia. Wow.
My God.
Mm.
Jesus.
Well,
it's huge.
considering
Okay,
that there are 8-meter crocodiles in Borneo, Ali and Angie flipped as well.
I know.
Yeah,
But she
like
can
it was.
swim, so
That's
she's
true.
a swimmer.
They can both swim.
She's a swimmer.
Yeah.
She swam for Australia. I don't know if people know that or not.
No.
But they had to do that speed bump first. Oh wait, who did the speed bump?
Yeah, Ali and
Yeah,
Angie.
Angie and
they,
Ali,
they
yeah.
did. They did
Oh,
the speed up for the orangutan
another-
path.
Another super easy speed bump, dead set. Where's the consistency, people? It was just
Yeah,
like,
no,
Well, if they're really bad with a slingshot, it might not have worked well.
no thumbs up. never mind.
fireworks.
Honestly,
Yeah,
no.
No, because they didn't want any fireworks for Ali and Angie because they didn't deserve it for that challenge. I'm just saying. You know?
I would give fireworks for this comment from Labai. My favorite moment of the episode is the raft judge. The way he judged the raft is so funny and sus. Oh, so tight.
Yeah, I clocked that too.
There it is. Fireworks.
So tight. I was thinking that too. I was gonna actually mention that. I completely forgot about it.
Okay, so the raft challenge was basically 6 kilometers that they're rafting through all the crocodiles and all that sort of thing. Ali and Angie recover from their raft flip. Darren and Tristan end up going first. And then Ali and Angie, Emma and Haley, Harry and Teddy last again. And they get to our roadblock, which is basically the blow dart challenge, which I was really excited for this because every young boy just imagines being a junker with blow darts. Like I know I did. Maybe I'm wrong in that regard. Tom, have you ever thought and think that you could definitely do blow dart warfare?
I thought it was cool, but I was like, I think was it Harry or Teddy who I don't know, whoever wasn't doing it was like, oh, make sure you don't inhale. That's what I was thinking the whole time. Like I definitely would be like,
Oh, right.
That'd be
We
me.
had again the tradition of people saying that I do X in real life, therefore I'm good at Y on The Amazing Race. And Darren saying that at school he used to do the pea shooter and blow paper wads.
Yeah.
The blackboard
I
and
did that
stuff.
too.
Yeah. Do you get that to you now? Do you get that done to you, Michelle?
No,
Are you now the
they're too
victim?
little. No, they don't have pens. You need
Oh, right.
pens to do that. Mine only have pencils.
There you go. You don't want them throwing them or learning how to fling them with velocity.
No.
with pencil.
Oh god, no, they're sharp.
Yeah, blow dart challenge. V, what did you think? Is it hard, easy, good, bad?
Looked like you needed a lot of luck with that
It
one.
really seemed like luck, right? Because
Yeah.
Tristan was going for a while. Ali rocked up. He even gave her like a little bit of advice. Maybe don't have it quite on the edge or something like that. And
Yeah,
then she
like
got
use
it
your
like
teeth.
first go, like immediately.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I don't know how skill based it was.
And I
from
think
there,
it
but-
looks
You have to
easier.
aim.
Yeah, it's probably easier than it looks. It looks impossible, but I think it seemed to be easier than it looked. That people seem to be able to roll through it pretty quick. But yeah, a lot of luck involved, especially when they're like, "Oh, I got the little one." Wasn't aiming for it, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the hardest one first.
yeah.
So yeah, the roadblock challenge, blow darts, a little bit of luck in there. Again, really good variety of challenges that we're seeing here.
Mm.
Different skills tested, different, resilience, patience, all that sort of thing, which I always appreciate about The Amazing Race is that it's just so full faceted, that it's not one team that could be physically dominant or puzzle dominant or whatever it is. It really does need a multifaceted approach and skills across the board. We end up from that roadblock basically heading to the what did we decide we're calling it? The waterfall edit.
Waterfall.
Waterfall edit.
Yes.
The
Coined and minted. TM.
Yep.
So after this roadblock, we basically find our way to the waterfall that didn't fall much water.
The waterfall of
Um,
death.
the
for Harry and
waterfall
Teddy.
of death. Not for everyone, because
Yeah,
Ali and Angie, after the luck of blow dart, I got the small one first. Ends up finishing first. They beat Darren and Tristan
Yeah.
second, Emma and Haley third, and then we see finally, after 6 weeks and many episodes, when they actually spoiled it before the season even started, we
Mhm.
get to see Harry and Teddy standing before Bo in front of the famous waterfall that wasn't. And we finally get to this point. So the
You know,
unity stood strong, Tom.
yeah, and what the whole time when I've been saying waterfall, I really meant it as like a metaphor. Like, they're going down a stream, and then once they reach this destination, that's when they plummet once again to their death. So I didn't actually think there was a waterfall. I was talking from a more
Right.
artistic standpoint.
Waterfall of
You-
tears.
Waterfall, yeah. I mean,
It's
it,
metaphorical.
it was a beautiful moment until there was one thing that made me laugh a little bit, and this is bad, but when Bo was doing the sort of Lifeline Beyond Blue spiel, they had like the lady who was at the pit stop, and she had no idea what was going on. This moment where he's doing this really he's doing this really emotional moment, and she just goes, it just looks like up there. She's like, what's going on? I couldn't help but laugh. It was like maybe they should have done a close up on Bo for that, because
Yeah.
she kind of killed the mood a little bit. Yeah, but it was, other than that, there was a really like beautiful moment between Harry and Bo and all them hugging. Just bro, I love you, bro, I
Throwing
love
out.
you, bro. Yeah,
Bro's had big feelings, man. Like,
Bro's
Oh,
big.
such big feelings.
Bring it in,
Mm.
as he says.
Ellen said the waterfall edit is a production fail. But yeah, the waterfall edit, we say goodbye to Harry and Teddy in fourth position. How do we sort of sum up Harry and Teddy coming in fourth? Did they sort of get overs? Should they have done better? I think they kind of probably achieved a little bit more than they should have, or probably right where
Yeah,
they
I think they landed where they should have.
decent.
I didn't think they
Yeah.
should have been in the top 3.
Mm. I think I said at the start of the season, they're a team that would have a lot of strengths, but like one big weakness, which in this case was their direction, and it would cost them in the late game, but they'd be able to mainly be somewhat dominant for majority of the race. Of course, they had their little stint in the middle where they were doing pretty poorly, but they were great at the start, sort of great towards the end, and then waterfall.
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 If Harry and Teddy, I think, didn't have the quote I love, the dumb head, the mental lapses, like I think they probably would have won a few more legs along the way, maybe even avoided elimination this week, because like again, it comes down to them getting lost, not following instructions, not reading something properly, not remembering the orangutan details, and they seem to have a lot of the other stuff down pretty good. Like you mentioned, obviously they're huge. They've got the physical component, but they could also do things like the silk, and they seem to have some pretty good things. But when it comes to just the mental game and that side of it, they kind of drop the ball a little bit, I think.
Well, that's
Mm.
just how it is. If you don't, you need all faculties working for the race, and one thing can let you down. It's just how it is.
So we had orangutans, we had bamboo rafts, we had blow darts, and we said goodbye to
Waterfalls.
Harry and Teddy. We had waterfalls again. They weren't really waterfalls, and we said goodbye to Harry and Teddy. And it did mean that for the first time in Amazing Race Australia history, an all-female team could potentially get to the end. We've got Darren and Tristan, we got Emma and Haley, and we've got Ali and Angie. A good combination of people leading into the last episode 12. What do you think? I feel like the final 4 as well as a whole, like even having Harry and Teddy there, it's a very strong final 4. Any of them, Harry and Teddy probably the weakest, but any of them probably could have won, right? And I don't think there's anyone else in the rest of the race that has been eliminated, maybe except for Tom. He might disagree with Beck and Kate, but there's no
They
one
only
else.
had one weakness.
that should have been up there, right?
Spiders.
You would swap someone out.
Mm.
Yeah, well, Beck and Kate should have been at top, but other than that,
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
I think
agree
that
with
one's
that.
been put to bed. Yeah, right. Like everyone that's in the final three should be in the final three,
Yeah.
and people who aren't in the final three don't necessarily like. Sometimes you get someone knocked out early, and you go, "Oh, they were really good," but something bad happened. They probably could have gone all the way. I'm
Maybe
feeling
Grant.
pretty satisfied. Maybe Grant.
Well, I mean,
Maybe.
Jonathan seems to love Yana and Core. I'm surprised Ellen's not ripping his head off in the comments. I mean, I agree. Yes, they can shine in some episodes, but if like Harry and Teddy and Yana and Core did 100 legs, I imagine Yana and Core would come last in more of them than Harry and Teddy would, just because like
Yeah.
they're like
Yeah.
this or that, and I think Harry and Teddy for the most part are like here.
A little bit
Yeah.
more consistency.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Jan and Core, they won. They also came second quite a bit. So I think theirs is just it's the it's rocks and diamonds, it's highs and lows, and sometimes those lows can be too low to recover from in a game like The Amazing Race, right?
Mm.
So we go into our final episode, the finale. Who's going to win? Who's going to get to the mat first? Who's going to win the race and be our amazing racers? The final three teams start the final leg in KL, Kuala Lumpur, and they're reflecting on their journey so far. And we start off with the first challenge is it's called. I wrote down my notes, and sometimes I write too fast, or I'm not sure what I wrote when I come back to it. But Fangs by Decory, teams basically build a fancy dessert with one member blindfolded. This is V's like type of challenge. He loves the fruit baskets and the
Bring out
flower
some fruit.
bouquets and more fruit here. What did we think of this one?
Well, see, this is one I couldn't relate to because I adore snakes. I've actually paid good money to have that sort of experience with snakes. And so they're getting it for free. And so I couldn't quite put myself in the position of how that would be off-putting. But,
Really?
it's a challenge.
You can't even think how it might be off-putting to have a freaking giant
No,
albino
I love
articulated
snakes too.
python.
I've had
It's
pythons
not
in
going
my
to hurt
body
you.
to win money, and that yellow snake was just beautiful. I was
I'd
like,
be
I just
distracted
want
by it. Be like,
that
I have a snake. We have a snake. I own a
they're
snake.
beautiful.
So I take it out as well, and I'm cool. It's more my wife. My wife's like an animal person. I'm kind of like tolerant. But we own a snake, and she's got the snake license and all that sort of thing. And I get it out and I hold it, and I'm comfortable and I'm cool with him. His name's Salazar Slytherin.
Oh my god!
But or Sal, you just call him Sal.
How'd you think of that one?
But there are times where if I'm holding him on my arm and he'll like go up just that little bit where I can't see where his head is, or I'm like, I just do that little bit. Like I'm cool with him. He's my snake. I hold him all the time. But every now and then, like it's still a snake, and my one is nowhere near as big as that dude. And I think like as comfortable as I am with
like
him,
that. So beautiful.
But a giant python like the ones that it was never going to be dangerous. Nothing was ever going to happen. Like I don't particularly like walking in the bush and seeing a snake. That's when snakes scare me. But it'd come up and it'd give you kisses in your ear, and that would be what distracted me. But
yeah, that's what I mean.
It just looked beautiful.
Well, surely you can at least like the initial like you're blindfolded and all of a sudden a heavy scaly thing is touching your neck and like just without prompt. That part's got to be like that'd be the part that gets me because I'm like a very flinchy person. Like someone walks into a room and I'm like so if I'm just blindfolded and there's a snake, I'd just do that, and like I don't think the snake would appreciate me doing that, or at least
Yeah.
But like I
wonder if they were told to keep still.
Still, that's you never know when it's going to come.
Don't move or you die.
Yeah.
I'd be relieved it was a snake and nothing else. I'd just be like, oh, it's a baby. Oh, I'd be excited. But I can understand like that it could scare some people. I don't know. I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you like the snake side? You're not as big on the fruit dessert side?
Well, the fruit, this wasn't quite as boring as the others. I liked the challenge of needing to relay that information. I think it was a bit more interesting than just copying something from looking
Yes.
at it. So, and they had the
I-
snake involved. So,
But I liked how they all explained it so differently. Like,
Yeah.
I think Emma was saying it's a volcano, and then someone else was saying there's drips coming down. It was just the way they interpreted it. For
Yeah,
their
even
thing.
angles. Darren's like, when you look at it from the top, it looks like something's just been splat on it.
Yeah.
And then I think Emma said there's 7 petals to the flower, and you just see the different mindsets and approaches
think
that
she
people would
said-
describe things.
She gave a year group, like the drawing of the petals. So I think, did she say kindergarten or year 1 or something? She was saying those sort of flower petals. Like, she was really specific.
it was great.
Not specific enough though was Angie describing how you put your little
Oh,
star watermelon fruit
yeah.
on the watermelon ball, which was the issue because Angie and Ali actually had the check first, but just oriented the star on the watermelon ball a little bit funny, which means that Em and Haley, who did listen, because they, again, how you describe things makes a difference, says he's sitting on there like a little man with his legs on the legs on the side and the
Yeah.
point at the top. And that's the best way to describe it, because that's exactly what I saw when I looked at it.
Yeah.
Like, you put him on there like a little dude. So yeah, it meant that Em and Haley were able to get the clue. Darren and Tristan also got approved after fixing their mistake. So one thing that I'm liking so far in the finale, and even the penultimate episode as well, I don't know if this is editing or production or the way it's kind of worked out, but I know in previous seasons of The Amazing Race US, I've seen hour-long gaps, like so big gaps, and people are often racing by themselves. And when you get to the final 3, I guess it was different because he launched them all at the same time. There was no like time from when you checked in, you were released at that time. Everyone went at the same time. But to have them racing together, completing the task together, and then going to one of the world's biggest bookshops together for our book club, which was called Book XS. This bookshop, this is crazy. Like, this is like one of the best bookshops I've ever seen. What did you think of this, Michelle?
I thought it was amazing, and especially I couldn't understand how I'd see that hole straight away and the map straight away. It's just something, I just look at minute details all around me all the time. So I couldn't understand why they couldn't see it. It was driving me crazy. I'm like, you're even looking at it, Darren. What are you doing? Like, it was insane for me. But I love this idea. It's so different. It's like they haven't done this before. Like, sometimes, the Aussie seasons copy things that have been in the other franchises because it's easy. You go to that country, they've already got the setup with the people there. They've done it before. So it's, the production knows what to do. But I love it when they bring in new things that no one's done before. And this was one of those. And it was just interesting.
I got a real like National Treasure Goonies kind of vibe, like having to figure something out and follow the map and blah blah blah, and it's actually a secret thing hidden on the wall that's in plain sight, but you need to, like, I really dug that. So basically they end up in this bookshop. They have to find the travel section, which has a map. They open the map and there are cutouts on the map that basically tells them where the next clue is, but they don't know how or what reference that map is. It's basically a grid square grid with certain sections cut out like Tetris pieces. They happen to line up with the giant floor-to-ceiling bookshelf, and if you put your map over the bookshelf, then you find the Declaration of Independence. But it obviously showed them the section there, so that was really cool. Darren,
and find the Chamber of Secrets, since we're talking about Slytherin.
Or maybe the Chamber of Secrets opens up or whatever. Yeah, for sure. That'd be
I couldn't believe I couldn't believe Emma and Haley, like, they finally find it and they're like, it's in the travel section. Like, wasn't that like in the clue? Because like Ali and Angie and
Yeah.
Darren and Kristen said travel section straight away, and I'm like, girls, are you something all right?
Yeah, they couldn't find it. I thought I heard them at one point say transport, and I was like, did they confuse transport with travel? And there's not a lot of transport sections at a bookshop, is there? You
The
can-
history of
a book
buses.
on Mack trucks.
Yeah, yeah. But
Um,
if I ever went there, I'd just ask for the book on the top shelf. Like, what was the point of some of those books? Like, no one ever gets.
Oh, the ones that are like
Yeah.
20 feet up in the
Yeah, like
there's no way to possibly get them.
or maybe like I just walk in there and just instantly start climbing the bookshelves and like, sir, please, like, no, I'm getting. I want that top book. I want that copy of Harry Potter. I want it.
But you'll get there and it will just be cardboard. You're like, they tricked me.
It's just like the worst book ever. I'm like, really? Come on, guys.
It's 50
I
Shades of
mentioned-
Grey.
I mentioned before the Declaration of Independence. Ellen agreed with me. This challenge gave me the National Treasure vibes. There you go. Oh, Jonathan with some stats for us. 6 episodes in Malaysia, half a season in the country. No other Amazing Race season has done that. Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Breaking records.
So Emma and our team struggle to obviously figure out the puzzle, but Emma and Angie and Ali see Darren and Tristan, what they're doing, holding the map up, and they kind of follow each other. One thing I liked about this section, I don't know if you've noticed this or picked up on it, but it seems to have been a real thing for Emma and Haley specifically throughout the season. And I'm really glad in the final episode, in the final challenge, or one of the final challenges, when they got their clue and she ripped the thing, it was a really good rip. And Haley even said, "Good rip, Emma." Like they were so excited to do the rip well because it seems like a
You've
real
got to get
issue.
all the way to the end. I've opened one of these envelopes before, and you want the good rip. You want to get all the way to the end.
It seems to like be a real issue for them, like because when they get it, they're like stoked. There's like, yeah, we got one, we got a good rip. Like they're more excited about the rip than they are the challenge or whatever.
Funny.
So we actually go to a third challenge. Actually, this is going into what I'm about to say, Ellen. Ellen said, I really appreciate how packed this episode was, but it didn't feel rushed. They could have padded out with filler, but they didn't, which I appreciated. Yeah, I think we got 4 challenges in this episode alone, and it was back to back to back, a very quick through. And because there's only a 3 teams left, we're getting through the challenges quickly as well, because you don't have to see 6, 7, 8 teams complete it and get the full edit. You know what I mean? So we're getting really good edits of the actual challenges themselves, and then we're going to the next one. And the third challenge is a route info called Hip Hop Don't Stop, where they go to the Masjid Jamek Bridge and basically have to learn a M-pop hip-hop dance routine. Tom, you're our resident musician. I was familiar with J-pop. I was familiar with K-pop. Never heard of M-pop before. Are you a big M-pop aficionado?
I'm sure every country has like a, whatever the first letter is, pop.
Pop.
No, I'm not really a fan of like any of those specific genres. But all I can say is another dance challenge. Oh, that's convenient. Oh.
How good were Emma and Haley at it, though?
Almost like they're
Well,
Of course they were going to be.
almost like they're professionals.
It's like they
Yeah.
know how to dance or something.
Yeah.
Leading up to the challenge, by the way, after the good rip, they're in the taxi going to the challenge. And one of the things that I wrote down is that Emma and Haley, knowing that it was a dancing challenge, just started saying, dancing, 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 dancing.
They should have said, thank you, producers, thank you, producers, thank you, producers.
Yeah.
What do you think of Emma and Haley, Angie and Ali going on taxi, Darren and Tristan deciding to go on foot? It could be a risky move, which we've seen in the Amazing Race before play a big part. Sometimes it could mean the difference between first and last, or eliminated or safe. Darren and Tristan take the gamble and go on foot. Is that a good idea, Michelle?
It depends if you're, fit enough to be able to jog it, if you need to jog or run. Sometimes in an Asian country in particular, it is faster on foot than to get stuck in the traffic jam. But it was getting late in the day now. Maybe it was around peak hour. It could have been better on foot. I mean, it didn't make much of a difference for this episode.
Turns out it was a gamble worth the risk because they maintained their spot. Maybe even, like they said, maybe we can even get a few extra minutes on them. And which, when it comes to this end of the game, that's what makes all the difference. But when it comes to learning dances, hip hop dances, by the way, one of the biggest shocks of the whole season for me was when Emma Memma said, with her outfit, the way she's wearing, and her hat and her shocking red hair and all that sort of thing, she said, I grew up loving hip hop. And I was like, what?
It was pretty cute.
I did
used to
not
be a
take
gang.
Emma
It was
Memma.
great.
Yeah, my favorite is
She's
she's like,
adorable. I love her
I
so
love
much.
I love hip hop. Her favorite's NWA and 3 6 Mafia or something.
Mm.
But
Um,
they go to
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, did anyone else appreciate Ali and Angie? They were my favorite part of this challenge. Just seeing like Ali like full on like Michael Jackson, just smooth, and then like Angie's like Peter Garrett from Midnight Oil, just like
Oh, no.
that was amazing. She looked like a robot skeleton, and then
It
Angie
was-
was like, a good dancer. It was so funny.
Angie was so not smooth. But the funny thing is that Ali said, I'll say what we're doing. But unlike Emma and Haley, who would say the step before they did it, she would say it as she's doing it. So that's why Angie's doing this, because she's trying to quickly get into the position that Ali's already started. So it was just a bit hard for poor Angie.
I thought Ali was
Emma-
quite good at it, though. I think it was another challenge that was made for her. She's no slouch. She was pretty good.
she's a singer, isn't she? She
Yeah, so she
dancing and stuff like
There was this moment where she was like, as a model, singer, dancer, la da da da, and I'm just like, actress, and I'm like, oh, okay, just calm down, just a second, okay, what else do you do?
Well,
Giving
Darren
Debbie
also
vibes
said
from
that,
Survivor Co-Wrong and Game Changers. Yeah, dead
A
set.
different
Also,
thing
she's-
every episode. That was
well,
Yeah, that
Darren's
was
one of
great.
those people as well. TV host, actor.
Yeah.
Like they keep
but
bringing that up.
He wasn't flexing it too much. I feel like the
No, not
show
him,
was.
but
yeah.
the show would say it for him on his behalf. But
Yeah.
Darren did say in this challenge that he watches dances on TikTok, so he's got this.
Yeah.
Like
Flawless
again, yeah, because I watch dances on TikTok and I don't have it. I'm a savage. Darren also said, by the way, that hip hop dancing is in his blood.
He's
Is
also
Darren in us all.
Darren McMullen.
Yeah.
The
Maybe
Scottish guy.
Riverdance is in his blood.
Yeah. Of course, as we would expect, and as you would expect, Emma and Haley complete at first go. They nail the choreography. It takes it's perfect challenge again for them because Emma grew up loving hip hop so much. Darren and Tristan needed a few attempts, 3, and the smoothness of Ali against the Peter Garrettness of of Angie took a couple more times to complete, but they finally got there, and the teams are running now. This is the last challenge, and they're basically on their way to the final puzzle. So they get to what looks like as far as production levels go, they actually set something very, very intentional and specific up for this. It wasn't just something rehashed or used. It was like the circle bar where they put the photos that were all backlit and everything against the backdrop of where they were as well. It looked really stunning, where the challenge was to correctly place 11 photos of places they've visited throughout the challenge, and that there are actually some incorrect photos in there as well. So there was the red herrings in there, as well as trying to get the chronological order. There's some in there that were trying to trick them. How do you think you would have gone on this, Michelle?
For one thing, one thing. Why the hell didn't they lay them all on the ground? Because they're very easily, you can put the same country together and see which one is the correct picture, or put them in chronological order, all 20, and then figure out which one isn't correct. No, they just kept putting them on that little thing to the side. I would have had them all down on the ground, would have done it a lot faster. Obviously, it's attention to detail, that there were yellow lanterns instead of red lanterns that Darren saw, but seriously, people, why aren't you looking at them all in a huge group? It just frustrated me, because when they've had challenges like this before, they had one in a recent season. I think they had tennis rackets or something like that. It was, or paddles, and people put them out on the floor to figure out what didn't go there and what did.
Do you think any of these people have watched The Amazing Race, though, Michelle? That's the fatal flaw.
But
you're
some
not
of it
considering.
is just like common sense. Like, look at everything. It's in its entirety. Like, come on.
But if this is the only time I'm going to defend Emma and Haley, when you've got the fruit salad and hot potato dance routines just blocking up your brain 24/7, you can't make these decisions on these common sense decisions. So that's the one time I'm going to defend them. That's it.
You can
and I also
love
insulted
how
them.
Haley actually walked in there and said, "Oh, it's like I'm in a TV show." Wait, we are, because it was so beautifully set up.
It was elaborate and it looked great. Like, again, the whole season I've been saying, like, this, it's a very well put together show, high production levels, but that last scene there looked spectacular. I thought I really did love that. So Emma and Haley arrive first. Darren and Tristan, however, take over because Darren picks up that there was no yellow lanterns at the dragon temple challenge.
Yeah.
I swear they were going to do that again. When the shot came up, I'm like, are they going to go dragon again? And they didn't. Wasted opportunity.
Yeah, they should have. I'm surprised that Darren, because I don't know whether he's watched a couple of episodes, but he said, "Oh, Tristan." Hi, Ellen. Tristan, had written all these notes, and it's because he's a lawyer. No, it's just race 101. You take notes throughout the season, and then you're okay by the end. But I love how Darren thought it was like this amazing thing that Tristan's been taking notes.
Well, Jonathan said that it is kind of a classic final challenge for The Amazing Race, and again, had they known that sort of thing, then maybe. But yeah, by Tristan taking those notes, it certainly saw them well, because they ended up finishing that challenge first. Em and Haley struggled with it. Ali and Angie struggled with it. But eventually all three teams competed. And Darren and Tristan are making their way to the final checkpoint, the end of the race. They're looking for the River of Life lookout point. Darren and Tristan get some local help. Again, Darren not afraid to, recruit locals to help in any challenge. The only team that has done it throughout the entire season, including just get us to the end. I don't even need help with mahjong. I don't need help with language. Just run with us, family. Come with us, strangers. I appreciate.
I love this family. What was the kid's name that they thought was lost for a second?
Sebastian?
No, it wasn't Sebastian. No. Surely Jonathan will know. But my favorite moment of the episode was probably like when Darren and Tristan were like, "Oh, make sure you guys keep up with us." And as soon as they get out of the train, the dad, like in the bright yellow shirt, is just like, he's on it. And Darren and Tristan were like, "Oh, we're not that fit. We're old men." I've just seen the look on his dad's face. He's like, "I'm gonna win the Amazing Race."
Yeah.
And it's like just leaving his kids behind. It's like, oh, who cares about them? I can buy new ones.
And when the kid was left behind, couldn't get through the gate thing, and Darren's like, typical Sebastian, always lagging behind.
Honestly, they were great TV, that family.
They were.
Darren knows how to find them, man. Darren knows how to do good TV. He's got the best one-liners this season. He's picking out strangers. He's doing all that sort of thing. He watches TikToks and knows how to dance. And he also, I believe, again, because he knows television, he's a host, he knows what works well. He made a massive, massive play here. Some might say it's controversial, but really, winning the Amazing Race, he gets to the mat, sees Bo there, and is about to win, and says, "We're not ready yet." He plays what turned out to be a really, really beautiful television moment. He says, "I want to
Yeah.
do it with the other teams," and it's we're gonna get to Tom in a sec. But I'm assuming that this is only plausible and possible at all because it is a charity celebrity edition.
Yes. Well,
No
because
one's
you're not
doing
supposed to share. But
Yeah, no.
obviously they're going to have to put some stop gaps into it for next year because they can't have it happen again. So they're going to have to tell people you can't do that again.
Yeah, because
Do
like what?
we
what
know
Jonathan
how
said here,
long they? I know.
the
Yeah.
charity's like, "Hey, are you going to give us the extra money now? Like, that was $100,000 that could have come our way. We're only getting 33
Did they have
now."
to wait long? Is it something that could only happen if they were all very close together?
I don't
Maybe.
think they had to wait long for Emma and Haley. I don't know how long it would have taken Ali and Angie to finish, but I think Emma and
Yeah.
Haley would have been pretty quick.
I loved that. That made me really happy.
Yeah.
So he did say we want to finish with the other competitors. He waited for Emma and Haley, stopped them, explained to them what he wanted to do. They start crying immediately, overwhelmed with how generous this is from Darren and Tristan. And then they do the same for Angie and Ali, and together on the count of 3, they all jump on the mat at the same time. For the first time in Amazing Race history, we not only have all-female winner in the Australian show, but we have multiple winners at the same time. And the way Bo said all of their names and said, "You are all the first team to check in." Like I was the same, V. Like I don't often
I love that.
get emotional about reality TV, but this was sweet. I thought it was so nice. It's for charity. They'd raced a long time together. I loved it. Michelle, what did you think of this decision from Darren and Tristan?
I don't mind it as long as it doesn't happen again.
You're not a
because it can't
purist,
be
like,
a
no.
thing that goes on. But I love the idea, and it was surprising. And yes, it was a world first, and I do love when Australians do world firsts. So yes, good. And on that note, I quickly have to leave because I've got this call coming in, and I'm very sorry to leave. But I love sharing this season with you guys. You finish it off. And I'll watch you on the replay.
Thank you, Michelle.
Don't worry, we'll wait
awesome.
on the map for you. We'll wait on the map.
Yeah.
Do some fireworks. Bye.
Yeah.
Hey.
All right. Are you ready?
And with the
hear-
fireworks, Tom, what do you think?
Kahuna, what is it with you and me and every show we do together having some ridiculous ending? Like no one wins traders now, everyone wins this. Just honestly, and like the one thing that would have made me like the Emma and Haley more than the other teams is if like while Darren's given a speech like I want us all to to be here and share the moment and then Emma just pushes him out of the like she just like like this whole like happiness has been a facade the whole time. It's like get out of the way, I want to win, and then like she just like becomes like this like terrible person. That would have been amazing.
I was
That would be
hoping for
good.
that too. Ellen's apparently great minds because Ellen said it as well. I'm not gonna lie, I saw the look in Haley's eyes where she was like, I could run to them right now and win.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
That would have been
Or
that
like-
would have been that would have been a much better TV moment, like having someone wait for the other teams and then another team snipes them at the end. That would I would watch that on repeat for the rest of my life. Yeah, even though I wanted Darren and Tristan to win, but yeah, like I'm not here for the goody. I just the orangutans wholesome. They're awesome. Like I've got the screen, I've got the thing right here, and seeing 3 people come first. What is this? Is this like primary school? Are we all winners? Do we all get a ribbon? Oh, dead set. Honestly.
Just think of it, Tom. It's good for Darren's brand.
Yeah, I
If
guess
you want to be a
so.
cynic, it's good for his brand.
It was very good for his brand.
Yeah, but
He
as
was
a
smart.
cynic,
Like I said, he knows what he's doing.
it made me like his brand a little bit less, but I still do love Darren. He's still a great guy.
Yeah. But he's a host himself, right? He knows what is going to look great. As far if he was like, if I was Bo, I would love this right now. If I like Bo saw what like he was excited by it too. He's like, wow, like they know when something monumental happens that hasn't been done before, when it's gonna tug at the heartstrings or when it's gonna elicit a specific emotion or response. I think they kind of get a little bit like it triggers that little thing, and they got really excited. And Darren knew that and played up to it. So I appreciated the savviness of it, if not the generosity and the good natured human spirit of it, but just he was smart to do it because it looks really good for him as a TV host. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you something that tugs on the heartstrings. Ellen singling me out, asking my opinion for Amazing Race. Oh, I could cry right now. Thank you very much.
If they did an All Stars, which teams from this season would you include, Tom?
I can guess.
I kind of wish I brought it up a little bit later so I had more time to think. But, well, you know, if they could clone Beck and Kate like several times, that would be great. Otherwise, if I couldn't choose them, I think Harry and Teddy should come back, and I think either Darren and Tristan or George and Pam for that rivalry with them, and then you know if as another team, I feel like you don't need to see Emma and Haley again. I feel like they can't bring anything
They
different.
can't do
Like
better. Yeah.
but also like they're just happy, and that's all they really are. Like I don't need to see that twice. I don't really need to see it once, to be honest. But Ali and Angie love the dirty jokes, and they were like the team that surprised me the most. But I also don't think like from maybe if and Ali can bring Cody next time instead. No, actually no, I love Angie. Oh, if they could have a three person team, that'd be great. No, probably Harry and Teddy is my number one, and then number two would be either Darren, Tristan, and George or Pam. And then number three,
Balloons.
Another
I am
one.
a wizard.
What?
Wow. Yeah. And those balloons are for you, Ellen. And number three is also for you, Yana and Court, just so you know you can see your favorite person once again.
As a final note to end on, can you imagine how much whinging Yana would have done at Cord during the dancing thing?
Yeah.
So yeah,
He's
that
trying
does-
to make it happen again.
what are you gonna do now?
What did I do?
Yeah, you did this.
I was doing this. Anyway, you guys keep going. I'll just do it.
Balloons.
Don't mind me.
Yeah, it comes to the end of what turned out to be a pretty great season.
Is it
I
don't know.
Where
Anyway.
does the season rank, Tom, amongst the other Australian Amazing Race seasons?
I might need Jonathan on hand to type this name out because I can't remember the names of the people. But there was a season. There were these two buff male nurses in a season. I can't remember what their names. I think Femi was one of them. And they were like they had they're nurses, or even doctors. I don't know. They were nurses or doctors. So they were intelligent. They were like fit, and they were really bad at challenges. Still, like they were such like an average team. And there was this episode where Femi. I knew it was Nick. Dang it. Yeah, I remember there was a challenge where like they had to race with camels, and like you saw Femi and Nick running along with the camels. I don't know. There was like an inside joke of my family that made that like the funniest moment in Australian Survivor history. But I really liked that season. And yeah, Tom and Tyler, great characters. One thing I learned about The Amazing Race is a lot of Amazing Race Australia fans really hold on to Tom and Tyler. Like I remember being really upset at the time, but I forgot about it. But clearly everyone else has not forgotten about Tom and Tyler being, ripped off at the very end. So yeah, but I thought that season was really, really good. But this is definitely up there. It just, the fact that it was like only 12 episodes really was refreshing. I wish Australian Survivor took out even 2 episodes. That would make Australian Survivor way better in my opinion. So yeah, good on Channel 10 for doing that. I think they did it out of necessity, they'll definitely try and add more episodes in the future if they can, because money's.
Yeah.
Is there a money one? Come on, no money one. Sadly, I haven't learned that spell yet in my wizarding class.
I noticed that when you talk about more episodes, I do wonder if obviously the celebrity version of it makes a difference to how many episodes they're gonna run. I think. Like, I think it's a harder sell to get celebrities on the show when you go, "Hey, you're gonna be racing around the world for like 6 weeks instead of 3," or you know what I mean? Like, I think it's an easier sell for the shorter version. And I do think that combination of having the shorter season, it felt a little bit tighter, a little bit more compact, helped with the, they had good tasks, good locations. One thing that I was down on the season is what Jonathan mentioned before, is that it was all filmed in a very, very small part of the world as far as the Amazing Race goes. We saw some great locations, we saw some really good challenges, but it was only in a handful of countries. From India to Malaysia isn't like a worldwide race around the globe, you know what I mean? Like, so I felt it was a little bit constricted in that regard, and felt similar from week to week. But what they were able to get out of that, I really felt they maximized, and I appreciated the season a lot. What did you think of it, V?
I loved it. I had a lot of fun. I do think sometimes having as Australian reality television does have the tendency to go on and on a little bit, and sometimes that's really great. But when you're having 3, maybe 4 hour long episodes a week, every week for 20 something weeks, it's a lot of content, and it can feel like it drags. So I think having, 2 episodes, hour long, 12 weeks, they kept it really tight, fast, punchy, and perhaps they almost split the celebrities in two, going, okay, we'll offer them just the 3 weeks, but we'll do 2 seasons of it. Perhaps that was kind of the network's approach to making it work. And so that's why the very next season is a celebrity season. Yeah, so I think it was just really fast, and it made it really enjoyable.
Again, I think the more versions of celebrity edition they do, I think the term celebrity gets harder and harder to apply because even this season, like again, like Angie and Ali, I didn't know who the hell Ali was before. Like I'd heard of Cody, I didn't know who his sister was. Like, like it really, like Pete. I mean, I love Pete. I know Pete, but he hasn't done anything in about 10 years, I'd say. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the more seasons they do, the celebrities that they're gonna have to get to after multiple people say no and they keep going down the list. Like when the list for season 1 of it, or the first version of it, included Harry and like Ali Simpson, like celebrity is going to be a hard moniker going forward, I think. But yeah, that it does bring us to the end of our first season of the Amazing Race Australia that we've done together. Great season, great show, but really great podcast. Tom, V, thank you so much for joining me and giving me all your insights and wonderful funny one-liners and all that sort of thing. What have you got for me, Tom?
Yeah!
I just want to celebrate this amazing moment. You get balloons, you will get fireworks.
Fireworks.
This is an amazing. This was a lot of fun with you guys. So thank you very much, and thank you, chat, for all the weekly customers, for rocking up. It's been lots of fun talking about this with you guys.
The chat always makes it so much better. Obviously, Ellen is contributing so much to the Yana hate. I love it.
And giving some love.
Our statistician, as always, Labai. Everyone who's joined us the whole season through, thank you so much. We really do appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I'm pretty sure we'll do it again next season. So, until then, I'm Kahuna. This is V with Tom. Nullified take for the Amazing Race Australia. There it is. So thanks everyone. We're gonna get going now, but give us some fireworks, give us some balloons, whatever you got for us, Tom.
Balloons, fireworks. Come on, my fireworks. Don't fail me now. Oh
Ellen,
no.
thank you so much. Thank
Under the
you, Ellen.
pressure.
We
There
we
we go.
appreciate it. What will you do with your Sundays? I know. There might be other shows starting. We'll figure something out.
Probably will be.
Congratulate Ali and Emma for doing more roadblocks than Darren and Tristan. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Emma did 5, you said, this season, right? Bye, guys. Bye. It's been fun. How's Jonathan? Thank you so much, everyone. Amazing Race Australia is done, but we'll be back with more shows, I'm sure, coming up. We've still got the challenge on the Nullified Take. We've got the Survivor, both US and UK with Tom and V. We've got Squid Games coming up at the end of this month as well, reality show. So there's always a lot going on in the Nullified Take. Make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you soon. Bye.
Bye.